Hey there everybody, welcome back to the 4-String Strummer, the channel. It's all about ukuleles. Today we're going to be working on some tips and techniques to get you started playing instrumentals, alright? Today I'm going to use my banjo ukulele, but you of course can use any ukulele you've got. They'll all work equally well, alright? Let's get into it. Okay, so for today's lesson, what we're going to do is I want to get started with doing some hammer-ons and show you how to pull a melody out of the chords. Okay, so first of all, we're going to start off, as we always do, with a simplified version. So if people are just getting started off, they want a basic version of this song, we're going to teach that to you first. I'll show you the chords, and then we'll get into some more advanced stuff as we go along. At the end, we're all going to have a chance to play together. Doesn't matter if you're just getting started or if you're a more advanced player. All right, let's start off with the basic chords and strumming. Here we go. So the song we're going to use today is This Little Light of Mine. Now I did a video on this one a few years ago now, I guess, and it's been really popular. This one we're going to do is a bit more of a simplified version of it. You can play that song with 3 chords, 4 chords, 5 chords, 6 chords. You can play it with a number of different chords in different arrangements. Today we're going to use a 3-chord simplified version so that we can focus a little bit more on our left hand. So for starters, let's go through the chords. This one we're going to play in the key of G. So start with your G, and it's going to go like this. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. And then we go to C. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. Back to G. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine, let it shine, let it. Go up to D. Shine, let it shine. Back to G. Okay, so for the basic strumming on this, again, if you're just getting started, this is a great tune because you only got 3 chords and you can work on your strumming. So, strum for this one, we're going to use our foundation strum basically, which is the paintbrush strum for this style. So we hit it with our thumb, brush it with our fingers, just like that. Folks, if you want to skip along, if you know the paintbrush strum and these 3 chords, you can just take a look at the timeline and move ahead to when we start to get into the instrumental part. Okay, here we go. Hit the top string with your thumb, brush it with your fingers. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Go to C. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Back to G. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it D. Shine, let it G. Shine. All right, nice and simple. Play it all the way through, just like that. Okay, let's take a look at the instrumental techniques now. Here we go. Okay, so for today's lesson, what I really want to hammer home, hammer being the operative word here, is that when we're going to play this, you'll see that my hand, like my chords remain in place, and all I'm doing is I'm adding maybe a finger, lifting one up, dropping it down. That's basically all this is. So it's not like I'm freewheeling all over the fretboard, okay? My chords sort of remain in place, and then I'll just sort of add and subtract to them as I go. Let me just play it through, and you'll see what I mean. I'll just play this instrumental here. Here we go. Okay, so you could see my hand didn't really go crazy. It just stayed there. So when I played my G, for example, it just stayed there. And all I'm doing is I'm doing what's called a hammer-on. And a hammer-on is basically when you lift and drop your finger down on a note. Okay, so you start off basically in this one with it open. It's kind of that delayed, kind of a bendy thing to get to the note that you want. So let's try this. Okay, that's the first. This little light of mine. So all I'm doing is I'm lifting that first finger. Gives you that kind of a twangy, sort of an old-time sound. This little light of, and I'm dropping my third finger here on the third string at the fourth fret. And then I just strum. Okay, because I'm picking up that G, mine here. That's a G, but also my top string here is also a G. So you can just strum it. And then I lift my my middle finger up here. Hear it? Lift it again. Drop it. Sorry. So it's lift and drop. Lift it. Drop it. Okay, from the beginning again. One more time. Lift and drop. Okay, now we're going to go to the C. Now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be hammering on with our second finger here. We're going to start at the second fret on the second string. Again, this little light of mine, and we just run it up to the third fret. So you can do it with your second finger, or if you want to do it with your first finger and then kind of step up to the third fret with your second finger, that's fine too. See? Then you take your finger off. Back to G. Okay, from the beginning. So you can see that G chord, I keep it there, right? That's your bass. Go to your C. Again, just walking it up from the second fret to the third fret. Lift it, back to G. And then we just do the same thing again. Lift your second finger. Let it shine, let it. You go up to your D. Now you just drop your pinky finger here. You can do this two ways. Drop your pinky finger at the second fret on the first string. Let it back to G shine. So again. Okay, now the other way you can do this, if you find this is a little bit cramped to get all four fingers across on the second fret, maybe you're playing a concert scale and it's a little bit more, cramped. You don't have to do it there. You can do it up here. You can do it at the fourth fret on the top string. Okay? Again. Four. And then back to your G. All right, now so for strumming on this, you can just basically use a sledgehammer strum. So your sledgehammer strum is very much like the paintbrush strum. A lot of you folks have seen this already, but I'll go over it for the folks that haven't been here before. You hit it with your thumb, you brush it down, and then you bring your thumb back up. Now somebody was mentioning on the Facebook group that they were having trouble coming back up. So one of the things you can do here is to flick your wrist a little bit more, and it'll make it more natural for the thumb to come back up rather than the finger. Okay, so you hit it with your thumb, you brush it down, and flick your wrist around, a little bit more rotation, and then what I would suggest is almost like you're dragging your thumb so that you can feel the string and the side of the fretboard up here on your thumb a little bit more maybe. Okay, this might help. Kind of coming back up like that, and then just flicking it with your thumb as you clear the edge of the fretboard. Okay, one more time, I'll go through it. We call this sledgehammer because it indicates the time that you use for this drum. So it's sledge, hammer, sledge, hammer. So the second part, where it used to be brush, paint, brush, is broken in two. And the hammer has equal time. So it's sledge, hammer, okay? Like that. Okay, now let's put that together with the instrumental that we've worked on, okay? Stick with this, folks, because you'll get this. If you've got these three basic chords, it's just a matter of lifting and dropping your finger down at the right time, okay? So just take your time with it. Here's how it goes. Okay, so you can hear how that works. You can play that strum all the way through. If you're a little bit more advanced and you want to do a little bit more double strumming and throw a little bit of bluegrass strum in there as well, go for it. But that's your basic strum, and you'll be able to pull that melody all the way through. And I'd suggest, if you're just getting started with doing this type of hammer-on chord melody thing, don't get too fancy with this hand yet, okay? Really work in this lesson on your left hand technique. Kind of do this one as a minimal technique. Do this one as more of your focus technique. All right, let's try playing this through. And again, folks, if you don't have the whole melody, just even throw in the odd little... Okay, dropping and lifting and dropping. You don't have to play the whole melody. Get this kind of a thing going on, and then just adding a finger here and there. Don't worry about getting the whole thing. Just kind of start putting a little bit of technique in here and there if that's where you're at. All right, let's play it through. Okay, so now we're going to play it through. So just a reminder, if you want to slow this down in one of the corners, there's a little gear thing. You can click on that, hit the playback speed. If you're not up to speed yet, if you're just learning it, knock it back to 75% and play along with us there. Folks that are just getting started off and you're just still working on your basic paintbrush strum, play along. Just do those three chords with your paintbrush strum. All right, let's go. Well, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine again. I got the light of grace, and I'm gonna let it shine. I've got the light of grace, and I'm gonna let it shine. I've got the light of grace, and I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. One more time with instrumental. Well, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Okay, folks, so take that simple song and just work on those little hammer-ons, because that will really add to your sound. And whether you play the whole melody or not, it doesn't really matter. The point is to get that technique down, and that will really serve you well later on as you're trying to add little embellishments here and there, okay? The fact that you can play it as a melody, to me, is nice. The really cool thing that I like about ukulele is that, you know, it's funny, like some people really see this as sort of a gateway drug kind of an instrument, like, oh, you play that, you should play a real banjo, or you play one of these, you should play a guitar or whatever. It's funny because I came the other way. I started off with guitar, and I'm much happier playing a ukulele, not because it's easier or whatever, just because I like the sound of it, but I also like the challenge. I like to try and get as much sound out of as little instrument as I can. And that's where this chord melody and instrumental stuff to me is just, it's so much fun to learn and to work, and it's a nice challenge. Just play along with it. And, you know, again, this little light of mine, right? This is, I'm not some expert guy or anything. This is what I do. This is what I enjoy. So I'm just sharing it with you because I love it. So I hope you're enjoying these videos. Folks, if you got any questions at all, just drop them down into the comments section. As you know, I'm always more than happy to help you out. I read all the comments, do my best to get back to you with answers where you need them, etc. All right, so until we see you next time, keep smiling, keep strumming, and have fun. Maybe with one of these videos right over here. Bye for now. Today, we're going to be working on some new techniques and skills to help you get in